I'm Mayor John Suthers. Welcome to the UCCS Economic Forum. On the November ballot, the citizens of Colorado Springs will have the opportunity to remedy a problem that's really been haunting us for 2 decades. Colorado Springs grew tremendously over the last 50 years. About 80% of our growth has occurred in the last 50 years. The city's 150 years old. And our stormwater systems have not kept pace. This became patently clear in the late 1990s when we had large flooding incidents, including one in which 68 million gallons of raw sewage went into Fountain Creek. That caused the mayor and council in the early 2000s to create a stormwater fee, which is what virtually every major city in America has to pay for stormwater infrastructure, maintenance, and operations. But unfortunately, in 2009, Doug Bruce ran a campaign against that fee, calling it a rain tax, and the voters urged the council to do away with it, and they did on a 5-4 vote in 2009. Since then, our stormwater spending out of our general fund has been grossly inadequate, and that's led to 2 major legal issues. Pueblo gave us notice of a suit that they were going to try and stop the Southern delivery system from going online because when we had got their permission to build the system, we had a stormwater program that was funded by the fee, and we had done away with that. We resolved that issue with Pueblo by promising to spend the same amount over the next 20 years that we would have spent had we still the fee in place. That's about $460 million. We're still in litigation with the EPA over what's called an MS4 permit, a water quality permit. They're alleging because of our inadequate spending, we're not cleaning up the water enough through detention ponding and things like that before we put it into Fountain Creek. We need to once again reestablish a stormwater fee that will pay for infrastructure, maintenance, and operations. We promised Pueblo to do 71 infrastructure projects over the next 20 years. We'll have to spend this money because of legal obligations in any event, but if we continue to spend it out of general fund, we will not be able to expand our police department, our fire department to meet the needs of the community. We need to join every other major community in the country by having a stormwater fee. $5 flat rate residential fee per month, $30 per acre per month for non-residential. That will be on the November ballot. If we're able to pass this, Colorado Springs will be on sound economic footing for at least the next 20 years. US Ignite is a nonprofit organization that goes to communities such as ours and helps them essentially accelerate the provision of high-speed internet. What I like to say is they're trying to help us figure out what the future of the internet is going to be. Figuring out the future of the internet today, come up with applications that will allow us to be a smart city. There's all kinds of technology being developed for cities, whether it be street lights, whether it be parking meters, whether it be watering monitors in parks that will save money for cities. And US Ignite shows us how to take advantage of the internet and higher speed internet use to create applications that will allow us to be among the top ranked smart cities in the future. In many ways, our desire to hire more police and firefighters is dependent upon being able to fund our stormwater through a stormwater fee and not out of the general fund. We have legal obligations that have to be met. If we have to meet them by paying $20 million a year out of general fund the next 20 years, that will hamper our ability to increase the police and fire staffing to meet the growing community. Right now we have 14 police officers per 10,000 people on the street. We really need about 17 for a city our size. And that's impacting us because of our response times. We'd like to be able to respond to any critical incident within 8 minutes. Right now we're only getting to critical incidents in 8 minutes, a little less than half the time. And our average response is getting close to 12 minutes. That's not acceptable. And no amount of technology can fix that problem. You need more police officers. We need to hire about 120 more police officers over the next 5 to 6 years. Our ability to do that, as I say, is largely dependent on being able to free up general fund by reinstating a stormwater a fee that will pay for our stormwater legal obligations.